Today we're going to start making this round table out of resin and dried flowers. Let's see how I start to do this. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Carrie from Eclectic Pellet Studios, and today we're going to be working on a resin tabletop. Something I've been wanting to do for some time, but kind of put it off for a while. So what we're going to use, this is going to be the first layer. I am doing the dried flowers and leaves. And typically speaking, I would like to do this backwards where they'd be upside down because I want the top to be where the legs are, and I usually seal them with resin. But I'm going to have to do this as a very pour slow to eliminate some of the bubbles, and also want to make sure that everything kind of stays in place and doesn't go floating around. So the first layer here is just going to be a thin layer that I put the leaves down to get into place. If I can, I'll put some of the flowers in. I'm going to use a base of this rose color from Just Resin to start off with, a little bit of background color since the flowers are white. So I don't see my heat gun around. Let me get that and we'll get started. Okay, so I have my heat gun, and we'll use that to pop some of the bubbles. But we're also, for this bottom layer, I'm just using Let's Resin A and B 1:1. When I get to the thicker part, I will use a different resin that is for deep pours. But for now, we can use this. I also have some 91% alcohol nearby in case I need to wipe up any spills. And then we got our mixing tools and some cups. I also have gloves that you want to make sure you wear around resin, as it's not very good for your skin. That's what the alcohol is there for as well, because that will help pick up anything that gets on your skin. You want to make sure you wash your hands appropriately. These have very low VOC. I'm not sensitive to that, so I don't use respirators, but if you are, feel free to do so. And then I have my mold on a just silicone mat. Resin does not stick to that, so it's nice to have down to protect your surface. I already went ahead and measured a thin layer. Ended up being around 12 ounces. So I'm going to go ahead and pour that 1:1. I always like doing the B first. So we'll pour 3 ounces of that into each cup. Let's see if I remember to take the top off. And this is by volume, not by weight. And you have to make sure that when you're using resin that you really look at the instructions on the bottle, because they all differ. Some are 1:1, some are 2:1. My deep pour resin that I use is 2:1. Some are by weight, some are by volume. So they all differ a little bit. You would try to get as close to that 3 ounce mark as you can. You'll find that if you don't get the measurements pretty close, your resin will not set up. It will end up having a tacky feel to it, which is not something that you want. In this instance, if that were to happen, we are actually going to be pouring another layer under and over this, so it will not affect it too much, but you don't want to get in that habit. Now, this is where I would say that alcohol comes in handy, because I like to douse a rag in it That allows me to wipe my hands off really easily in between, because as you saw, I used my finger to stop the flow. Okay, now we're going in with our A, and the reason why I do B before A is very much thinner than the B. And so I think it helps to pour better. And there we go. Okay. Now also one of the things that you want to pay attention to when reading those directions is how long you need to stir these. Some are 3 minutes, some are a little bit longer. You also want to take into consideration the work time available to you. Let's Resin has a longer work time, about 30 to 40 minutes. Some of them have very short time. And if you're trying to rearrange things and get them where you want to, not always a great idea to use the short ones. Short resins are usually good for, jewelry making, things of that nature. This is a 3-second stir time. And you always want to make sure that you are scraping the sides. Okay, it's been about 3 minutes. I'm going to take a separate stick and stir this up, because if they've been sitting a while, they will separate. You want to make sure that color is well incorporated in the medium it comes in. Okay, I'm going to pour a little bit of this in each one. We'll mix that up and see what color we get. Decide whether or not we're going to put more in. You do not want to get resin in your actual color. It will seize up on you. That's a gorgeous rose color. It's still a little bit translucent, which is fine. I think that's good. That one's slightly darker. And we'll just clean up the color with our alcohol. The thing good about alcohol with these molds is it does evaporate extremely fast, which is good when we're doing this. So give this a stir quickly, and then we'll get going. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just pour these both in. And then we'll take our leaves and place them in as well. Okay. Now, if this were a silicone cup, I actually could reuse this. You just set the cup on the side with your stick still in it, and then when that dries, you can pull the stick right out with all the dry resin. Clean it up with some tape just to get any little pieces that were left behind, and you're ready to go. Okay, so we're going to move this around just so that all our areas are covered. I'm also going to take a heat gun to pop all those bubbles that you can probably see. I'm not sure if you can see them on the camera, but they are there. It's inherent, unfortunately, to resin, but a heat gun just over the surface of that will easily pop those. And as the resin settles in here, more bubbles will come up. So as I'm placing these leaves in here, I will most likely take another swipe at this. I see that some of that pigment did not get mixed in well, so I can just take my stick and do that. Also, in doing this, I'm breaking up some of those bubbles as well, bringing those to the surface. I'm kind of liking the effect this is giving too, so I might just go ahead and leave that. Once over, and then we're going to start playing with the leaves. So I just have dried leaves, and I'm going to place them down. And my goal here is just really to get them stuck in the resin so that they don't go moving around on me when we go and place the flowers. They don't have to be totally stuck in there. It's really just so that when this dries, that they're not going to move. And I really try to only get the underside of this. I don't really want the, I don't think I really want the red color on top, because I think we're going to go in with a clear coat after this to get the flowers stuck down. So no rhyme or reason, we're just going in here. You can use one of your sticks too to help. And I really, because this is a little shallow, I've got to be a little bit careful about making sure these leaves don't stick up too much, because when I lay the flowers on it, it still has to make sure I'm kind of in the whole brim of this mold. So I think I'm going to stop there. Now I do have one big flower that I am going to add to this, that since I have the middle open, I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And it's this one right here. It sticks up the highest anywhere else, so I'm going to want to put that in here probably with a little few small flowers just to brace it. From falling over. I think that will be good. Take a look. Okay, just want to make sure that when I go in and pour that I'm able to cover this one up a little bit. But I think that's a good starting point. I'm going to go ahead and stop here and let this cure so everything is stuck down. We'll come back in with another clear coat over this and start with more flowers. Hello all. Wanted to give you a little bit of an update. I have not been videoing every layer here because it would be awfully boring, but wanted to give you just an update of where we're at. I just poured one final a layer to go over the flowers here. I have a little bit more space, so when this cures up a little bit, I'm going to put one final layer on before we unmold and finish off the back side. So as you see, there's a few bubbles in here that I'm just trying to get out, and from there we'll let this cure up a little bit and I'll be back to show you how we finish this off. Okay, we're in the home stretch. I'm actually going to place a foil around the edge of the table, and you can get these in a variety of colors. This is a bronze one where it will match some of the black legs, along with this little turtle that I think I'm going to include if the purchaser would like to purchase this. I get these from the Artisti Painting Studio, which I will put a link to that in the description. First, you had to put some foil adhesive that you can also get from there. That has to go on and dry for at least 60 minutes before you can then put the film on. It can go on longer than that. It's not going to matter. Once you put it on though, you just needed to let it dry. It will remain sticky. So I'm going to go ahead and apply this. All over. And I'm not going to press down on that side just yet. I think I'm just going to go ahead and roll this around and go ahead and peel it. Now you can see there's areas that it does not stick, and that is fine because we can go back over that. In pieces. So I do that. Let me get this other side. Put it apart. The good thing about this adhesive is that it's going to remain tacky until it picks up the foil. So that's why I said that there's areas that did not pick up the foil. We'll go back over those. And just use the cloth. we'll just keep working that until I'm satisfied that I've got enough on here. Let me see if there's a part of this that is fully. Nope, I'm gonna have to do that a little. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep working on this, and we'll come back and show you the finished product. Okay, here we go. This is the end result of that table. I did put this little turtle on there if somebody would like that. It's not glued on right this moment. But here is the finished sides, and you'll see the legs. Turned out pretty cute. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and like my channel. Come back for more paintings and crafts.